Okay, so here we are again. The PIC VDU is actually running now. As you can see, we've got a default graphics display because it's turned on by default because the enable is hooked up to flag 1 of the SCMP processor. So that's low by default when you put it on. So one of the first things we're going to do in order to be able to put any code in through the Pi programmer is we're going to select address FFF, which is the end of the memory term, and then we're going to put O2 in there, which is we'll set the flag 1, and then we're going to go back into the monitor, which turns the screen off and gets rid of the flickering display because the processor is now running at full speed. You can notice the Pi programmer got the clips on the capacitor to allow the Pi to do a reset. That doesn't actually work at the moment for some reason on my send script, which is currently being debugged. But hopefully I'll be able to now send you if we connect into the Pi and go into the MK14 directory, then we've got some programs here. So if we do a send 14 and we send what should we do? Fullman. If we've got fullman, yeah. So fullman.asm, no, .hex rather. We're going to send a code, and the Pi programmer will. Oh, it actually did do a reset then, very cleverly, but then didn't actually manage to do the disable again afterwards. Great. So we'll put it in again, and I might have to take the disable out until we get it working. Yep, it's managing to do the reset now. Great. Well, that's easily fixed because we just take off the ability to do the reset. Okay, so we'll do a send again, and I just saw it do the FFF02, so it does know that it needs to do it. It's just not able to type it with a slowdown from the CPU. So that's done, except of course now the actual machine's not on. But if I do reset, you see it would have been there if we'd enabled the VDU correctly. So for some reason the fall-in man code doesn't enable a VDU. That's actually quite a problem with all of these because we've just changed it to use the new version of the enable program. If I use the old one, which will fail because it can't send it. I think the Pi output's in an indeterminate state if I'm ending it soon, so I'll let it finish. Time to get the send script running properly with my setup, isn't it? So if we abort and we go FFF, term 02, go to disable, and we do again the send. This is the old one. This doesn't try and do a disable. There we go, and there's the falling man demo running on the OrtonView. And it runs fine. We should also be able to send the horse race program, hopefully. So I reset, get rid of the display again so the Pi uploader can run. There we go. Then we got a horse racing in the top with the 3 horses zooming along. which one we're going to get as a winner. Looks like middle row is going to do it. Is he? No, coming up on the outside. And, oh, it's a crash. They've rushed right round the course. This is going to overwrite all the memory now. It's a bug in the horse race program. I haven't finished debugging yet. But you get to run the race a second time. And of course, it will never detect the end of screen now. There we are. We start seeing a proper game crashing. All right. So what else we got? We should have the lister program. Well, let's try car set first. This is going to fail because it's don't abandon it halfway through. The little flashing lines at the top of the display that you can just see there, of course, they're the monitor program running because you're seeing memory represented as graphic memory. Go. Okay, so it's now disabled, so I should be able to send the car set program. Okay, there we are. That's the full display set displayed, and then one cycling round to show that this process is actually running. We can also, if we go and disable it again, we could send the lister program over. Yeah, so now the lister is showing the decoding of address 0 onwards, which is the monitor program. Obviously it starts at 1 because of the funny thing with the SCMP that it starts executing from the first instruction on the CFFE. And you can just press go on the keyboard to see the next group of memory. So you can just cycle through memory looking at it represented as the instructions for the SCMP, which is a nice neat little program. There we go, and we can have a different look at the address if we wanted to look up. It says at OF75 for us to do. So if we actually abort and go to 0FFB, so 0FFB to set an address, and we're going to terminate the address entry, and we're going to put it in. We're going to have a little look at 0F, and the next memory address will be 75. Memory, and then we're going to abort, and we're going to have to actually go to 0F75, which is the lister program itself. So now when I press go, we'll see the lister program listed. So there we are, that's the lister program listing itself. What else we got? We could, if we reset and disable, then we can also hopefully should be able to send another program. What else we got? We got Minefield here as well. So Minefield. Okay. So I notice it's in inverse now because my set code is setting it off, but it doesn't really matter, it's still perfectly playable. It's a snow scene. So if we hit go now, that should start the tanks launching, and F is the fire, so there's my tank zooming along, and you've got a fire just before you hit the barrier, and that will hopefully allow you to get through it before you set the mine off. Yeah, there we go. I can quite good at this now. Ooh. There we go. And oh, missed it, so bang, I get an explosion. So as you can see, runs pretty well. Obviously the text at the top is actually the code running in the F code page, and we're displaying B on the bottom. So let's try and get past these couple of mines. If we can get all the way to the bottom, the game should restart faster. Okay, nearly there. Oh, blast. You can't quite see very clearly, but the last two lines of text are Minefield is the name of the game, and tanks is the count of the number of tanks, and go or F. So it's got the instructions and the name hidden in amongst the code. So what sort of games can you write in 512 bytes, which is your screen as well, so even less than the ZX81. So hopefully we can get through. Yes, there we go. Hey, excellent. So we can launch it again now, and it should be faster, which it is. Every time you succeed, it gives you another load of minefields at a faster speed. This is adapted from one that was for the Practical Electronics VDU and published in one of the mags. So it wasn't originally for the Science of Cambridge VDU. Can we get a clean? No clean run. It's taken us 3 tanks to get this far. Anyway, so that's Minefield running on it. So I'm going to go off now and fix that transmission script, and maybe have a little fiddle with the settings to turn it on. But we'll leave you with one final image, I think, which isn't quite fully finished yet. Again, we need to update one of the bugs. But if we reset and disable our graphics card, and we send, we will send Karen's famous image encoded by Sirius. And those who probably know what's coming. This relies on the old script's bug of turning on the VDU at the end of the transmission. So I'll correct the code so it turns it on itself, and then we can use the new script when it's finally finished. Hopefully. Nearly there. B, D, E, F. Off we go. Boing! SCMP inside. Working on the OrtonView on the slothy Mark 6 board with the Sirius hardware uploader. Thanks, guys.